Okay, next up is thinking about data. What's most important to track? We call these data here different things. You'll hear me refer to this as data entities. A data entity, for example, here is a site visit, an observation, a project, a user, a rating, a species. Those are different things that we all, nouns that we all talk about in our day-to-day work. Those are the entities that we want to begin to map in our data space here. Ultimately, your data management plan will be about improving the way your program deals with data. And that starts with an efficient map or conceptual data model here. A data model is a diagram that boils down the key information types in your program, your key entities, and illustrates how they relate together. With the data model in hand, you can move on to talking about current and potential systems to help you manage your data, and which systems are responsible for which pieces of the data. We'll get into that here in a little bit. So you can see here an example of users and visits like I just called out, and how they relate together, and which ones are more important and which ones are less important here. So another key technique I just wanted to drill into a bit here is conceptual data modeling. A couple quotes I found about conceptual data modeling that I liked. One can think of it as a visual representation of an organization's data semantics, or a community view of the structure of the work. There's a few elements when doing a conceptual data model. One is a subject area. So what are the themes within your organization? So for example, monitoring activities is the one we're just looking at. An entity, what things do you need to store? So that's a thing that you need to keep track of and store, in this case, a site where we do monitoring. What are attributes? What are the characteristics of those entities? So for a site, we need to know location and landowner are the most important ones. You can fill in the detail later in detailed data models. Conceptual stays at a high level, so we'll just track the most important stuff here. Relationships, how are they related to each other? This is where you start to draw lines between them. So a site has visits, possibly one per year, and then you can start to define constraints. What are the data requirements? So this starts to solidify the relationships and what's required in the attributes when you are filling out one of these entities. So this is a tool that we use. If you've got somebody in your organization who's skilled at data modeling, it's great at this point to pull them in to help you. Or if you've got experience, there are large books about how to do this effectively, and it can be quite fun and rewarding, speaking as a data geek.